Hey Jason, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through this revision of your program that I made for you. First off, what I believe you're trying to accomplish with this is you've got an input that occurs. When that happens, you want to read a clock. Depending on the particular hour, you want a delay to be set. It can be different based on which hour it is, and then you want this delay to be weighted. After which point an output will come on for 2 seconds, then turn off and wait for the next thing to happen. So that's what I understand your project to be doing right now. And I'll show you how I've kind of rearranged it a bit. We start out just like you did. We check the signal, and if it is on, we go ahead and read the time just like you did, and then you can see here I've got the different hours laid out. And what they do now is they just copy a value into this new tag I created, timer delay. And I think the way you had it set up, all of these were 5 seconds, and in this particular case it's 30 seconds. But anyways, I store that off in a register, and then I do a couple things. I'm going to set up a state machine, and if you haven't looked into those, check out our video tutorials we've got on state machines. I really recommend setting up all your programs as a state machine. So we set our state machine to 1. We reset our timer. I'm sure you're more familiar with going like this with the reset. This with the reset. But putting a 0 in the copy is the same thing. It's equivalent, and then we start the timer. And you'd create a unique timer for each of these. I think you can knock it all out with one single timer. So that's what I've done. So we do that. Once that's done, we loop back. This whole thing happens in one big loop. You see here. Okay, so once the signal is off again, then we will have set up, we assigned the state equal to 1, so we will have set it up so when the signal goes to the no, it'll check out, okay, is my state equal to 1? And right off the bat it isn't, because all tags, when they're powered on, or you reset your program, are going to be equal to 0. So only if it's actually gone through this first process would it have been a value 1. And if it is, then what it's going to do is it's going to ask, is my timer greater than my timer delay in seconds? And if so, it'll do the next thing. And if not, and this is critical, if not, we need to tell it what to do. That was something I didn't see in your code. You're kind of leaving off the not blocks, and it's important to tell it what to do when something's not yet reached. Otherwise, it'll start the logic back at the beginning of the program. Sometimes that's okay, but a lot of times it's not. Okay, so after this my timer delay, which is 5 seconds or 30 seconds in these above cases, then it's going to do a couple things. It's going to change the state equals to 2, so that next time it loops around, it'll come over here and it'll do this logic. It's going to put a 0 in my timer, so we're resetting this timer because we're going to use the same timer again for the 2 seconds of the output being on. And it puts the value 1 into outbit D1, which is the same thing as a turn on statement. If you put a 1 in a bit, you're turning it on. So that's just a shortcut we do around here a lot. So once this is true, it's going to go around. The state's not going to be equal to 1, so it'll fall down to here. State will be equal to 2. And we will check to see, is my timer greater than or equal to 2 seconds? If it is, we're going to set state equal to 0, which all that's going to do is next time it comes around, it'll ask, is it 1? No. Is it 2? No. Go back to the main loop. It's just going to hang out in just kind of a waiting state, basically. And then it's also going to put a 0 into outbit D1, and that's just turning that output off. So I think this accomplishes all the logic you were looking for. The things that were kind of missing in your code were the resetting of the timers. That's a critical one. You can either use the reset thing that we talked about, or you can put the 0 in it, and then finishing off your no blocks. And I'd really recommend sticking to a state machine format. And I think you should be good to go.